Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Liz and this is Let's Get Lizicle, where we do everything card making. And this week is my nephew's 5th birthday, so we are making him a card. However, it's going to be Halloween themed because apparently he's obsessed with Halloween right now and wanted a pumpkin on his birthday cake. And usually I'll coordinate the cake with the card because I do both. So I'm making a Halloween inspired birthday card for today. And the fact that I have my Halloween stamp samples in hand and I could not use them for this card killed me. I had so many ideas that I could have done with this card, but because these products don't actually launch until August, I didn't want to, spoil it for anybody and had to kind of use what I already had in my stash. But anyway, I'm going to be using a mixture of my own products. So I'm using the birthday balloons, stamps, coordinating dies, and coordinating coloring stencil. And I'm just going to be using, standard Halloween colors for the balloons. I do have this orange one, but I don't end up using it. I ended up using only the green and the purple balloon that I did. I stamped out 4 just in case, because sometimes you mess them up. But because I'm putting a pumpkin on the card, I didn't want to have too much more orange on that, so I'm going to only use the green and the purple one. And right now I'm just ink blending them with the stencil for quick coloring, and then I'll just cut them out with the coordinating dies. For the pumpkin that I'm adding to the card, I am using Lawn Fawn's stitched pumpkin dies for that. I have the brown inks out because I was originally going to ink blend the stem for that, but I ended up just cutting it out of like the same charcoal cardstock that I cut the shadow layer of the happy birthday die, and just so that I wasn't, again, bringing more color into this. And I'm also using a Doodlebug paper pad, either from 2023 or 2024. But it's just like kind of a dot pattern background that I added just to give it a little bit more of a happy birthday, vibe. I am going to ink blend the 3 colors for my happy birthday sentiment, which again I'll cut out using my happy birthday die, but I was originally using these finger daubers that I have. They're brushes. They're actually the only brush blenders that I like to use because they're pretty stiff. I was looking at getting the Ulta new ones, but I find them to be a little too expensive. I think a set of 4 of them was like $40, which is $10 a brush, which is way too much. So I'll probably stick with these. I did buy another set of them on Temu, and they're all kind of like black and they have like iridescent sparkle on them. And then I'll just use one for each color family, which is kind of what I do with the ones I have now. I have one set that I use with the oxides, and then I have one set that I use with my dye inks. Now, ink blending these 3 colors together does leave it a bit muddy in between the colors, but I didn't have a problem with that. It just looks a little bit more like gray in between once this ink dries and blends out. It doesn't bother me at all. It's still, the colors coordinate with the rest of the card, and it's just a way to bring in those colors some more. So I didn't have a problem with that. So what I did was I did all of my stamping and inking together, and now I'm going to cut everything out for the balloons. I just used the coordinating die. For the happy birthday die, again, I cut the shadow layer in a charcoal gray because I didn't want to use a black because that would be too stark, and I didn't know what other color to kind of do it with. Maybe like a dark purple would have worked as well, but I didn't want to add too much of the purple to this card. Purple's not one of my favorite colors. Apparently I look good in purple though. I wore a dress this week and I was told that purple looks good on me. The only reason I bought the dress was because there was skulls on it too. So it's a dress I bought like a really long time ago, and it has skulls in amongst like purple and like teal florals. And I absolutely love the dress, but I don't wear dresses very often, so I only wear it maybe once or twice a year. And I just wore it for like a work event that we had. I think I mentioned it in my video last week. We went on this like little pirate ship cruise around Lake Ontario. We basically went to around the island and back again, and it was just like a little hour long trip. But it was kind of cute. It was raining, so it was not the best weather, but thankfully it wasn't too hot and sunny at the same time because we would have like died in the heat because it was actually like 35 degrees that day. And that's Celsius for anybody in America. So with the rain, anytime it stopped, it was extremely muggy, and anytime it was raining, it definitely did cool it off a bit. I ended up getting like soaked by the time I got home because there was just like moments of downpour on my journeys, and it was, you know, nice to get home and get changed into my PJs. This is my go-to. Is that anybody else's go-to? Like, just as soon as you get home, PJs time? Like, basically, I do wear like leggings all the time, so I am comfortable. But I do love my pajamas. Plus, I changed it into my like short pajamas because again, it was hot. Ended up crashing out in the living room where we have the air conditioner because it was just too hot to be sleeping in my room. We're in an apartment, and you can't have an air conditioner in your window unless there's a balcony below it. Oh, unless you get it professionally installed, which a lot of people don't want to do because it's a liability issue. But anyway, those are the bylaws here in Toronto. And I just camp out in the living room a lot of the time in the summer because it is just way too hot to sleep with just a fan. Anyway, back to the card. Everything's been cut out. I am gonna also cut out the happy birthday using the charcoal. I saw this trick on, I think, Christina Warner's video the other day, where she cut the sentiment out of the same color as the backing, and I thought that was like a really good idea. That way I'm not adding another layer of color to it. Like normally I would probably cut it out of white. But if you cut it out of the same color as the shadow layer, it just like helps kind of like blend it in a little bit better. So I am going to glue that down to my shadow layer first before I glue down the colored portion of it. And it will just help me lay it out. This birthday portion at the bottom is scripty, and it's a little bit more delicate than the chunky happy at the top of the sentiment. So it does get a little bit warped sometimes when you take it out of the die. So the shadow layer actually helps you kind of like put it back into place. As long as you're making sure that like the border around it is even. It's a little bit hard to see on this video right now because it is like tone on tone gray, but you'll see once I put the colored version on top of it just how it looks on the shadow layer. I like to do the thicker shadow layers. I think I do like a 1.5 millimeter border on it instead of 1, and it gives it that little bit of extra thickness to the shadow, which I like doing it that way, so that's how I do all of my die cuts. And now I'm just gonna glue on the colored portion, and I like doing it this way just because I can add glue directly to the shadow layer instead of adding it to the back of each letter. I find that a little bit more annoying. So I am just adding a little bit of glue to each letter and then using my picker tool to pick that up and put it on top. I just find that a lot easier. And for the birthday and for the happy, especially after you've put down that initial layer. If you're not popping it up with additional layers, it's fine. You can just automatically go to this. But I like the way that this turned out. I think because when you blend the orange into the green and then the green into the purple, because they have, you know, all three colors within those two, if that makes sense. Like the green has the yellow and the blue in it, and then the purple has the red and the blue. So you end up with all three primary colors, so that makes a neutral. But I think because it's slightly more grayed in between for the transitions, it really helps with using the charcoal as a backing instead of a black, because it helps, you know, accentuate, I guess, that like gray. Like it kind of helps coordinate it with it, not accentuate, but it helps coordinate better with it and makes it stand out a little less that way, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm just popping this up on some foam tape. This is I think it's the Michaels foam tape. It was a big roll originally. It's a little bit thicker than the 1mm one that I got from scrapbook.com, but I am trying to use this roll up. I do love the scrapbook.com because it's close to the Mama Elephant, but it's a lot cheaper. Not the, I always want to call it Mama Elephant, the Big Mama foam tape from Simon. Like the rolls there are massive, but I feel like if you order a couple of rolls of the scrapbook.com one when it's on sale, it's going to equal the same amount and still be less money. So, you know, I'm all about saving money when I order things because I order too much things sometimes. But anyway, I'm going to ink blend the pumpkin. I probably should have done it before I die cut it because you can somewhat see the white of the cardstock through the stitches, but it's not major, so I'm just going to leave it. And again, for the stems, I just ended up cutting them out of the same charcoal so as not to bring in any extra colors. And for the face of the pumpkin, because my nephew likes Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas, which is probably also my fault because that is my favorite movie, I am coloring his face to kind of look like Jack Skellington. And I just kind of drew it on and then used a fine liner and my alcohol markers to color that in. Then I'm going to end up popping this and the purple balloon up on some foam tape, just again for some dimension. I glued the green one down flat, just so that it was behind the purple balloon. The die did shift a little bit when I cut it, so it's not perfect, so that's the side I decided to cover. But I also wanted to stamp these cute little skulls from Waffle Flower. I think it's the Postage Collage Spooktacular stamp set. And it's kind of like the cancellation marks for the Halloween. And it's just these cute little skulls that I wanted to add onto the balloons. Again, I wanted to use my own set for this because I have something similar in my set, but I think mine's cuter. I do love these, but as you can see from the tattoos on my wrists, but I do have, again, something a little bit similar in my set coming out in August, and it killed me not to be able to use this right now. But you'll see that in August. I'm just giving away all of the secrets now. Anyway, I drew on some strings, just making sure that they were behind the pumpkin, and then I kind of messed up one of the lines, so I just added a little bit of like tails to the ends. And I just drew those on quickly. I'm gonna add on this pumpkin here, and then that's our card for today. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below and let me know your thoughts. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to my channel because I'd love to have you here. And until next time, thanks guys. Bye.